Malobady here. Hope you're all enjoying your day today. I'm super excited to talk about Ethereum breaking a major resistance level here at the 50-day moving average, why there may be a potential breakout to our next target, and we're also going to be looking at the total cryptocurrency market cap chart and then covering some headlines, including some updates on Vechain and then digital currency marketplace. And then we're going to take some questions from a live audience and do a lot more here. So let's go ahead and just dive right into our technical analysis here for Ethereum, as we're seeing a lot of exciting movements here. I already looked at Bitcoin and Ripple today. We're not necessarily seeing much movements with Bitcoin and Ripple. If you guys watched yesterday's video, you'll get an update on that technical analysis. But right now with Ethereum, things are looking extremely exciting with this breach here in this major resistance line. You can see we found resistance and support here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, many times in the past. And now we're starting to break through that to the upside. And that's also where that red line is, or the 50-day moving average, which is extremely exciting here for Ethereum because we've seen such a strong amount of downside over the past few weeks as we've seen Bitcoin's price levels go on a rampage between 3,000 and 4,000. And so this is very positive news here. What I'm looking at in terms of target is this next known resistance. And this isn't just 2 points of contact. If we actually go to this chart here, you can see there are other points of contact on that resistance level, which is right at that 4.1 million Satoshi level, whereas right now we're right around that 3.8 million Satoshi level right now. So it's going to be extremely exciting for us to see this breakout to the upside. We've got a ton of people on our live stream right now. Johnny, Randy, Guerrera, and Justin saying the sound is better. I do apologize about what happened earlier with our other live stream. But the other cool thing about Ethereum's technical analysis here is we're breaking this Bollinger Band resistance level. That's a very bullish move here. We're bouncing on top of this green line here, which is the EMA, or the exponential moving average. This is a very strong sign of momentum. And what's also cool is if we were to go ahead and pull up this RSI, you can see we're starting to breach that 60. What I'm watching for to confirm this breakout before sending any sort of signal is for us to find some higher RSI levels, because anything above 60, especially when we're far and above 60, is bullish, and then eventually you'll get to this overbought level, which is above 70. And that's actually how we called our last trade alert. If you guys are getting our daily cryptocurrency and Forex trade signals, we've been killing it. You can see another one yesterday. One of our members, Staffkaz here, took 6% profits on our Aeon call. You can see this was the call that we sent out, and this was the results today. If you guys are not a part of our group, the link is in the description below. I highly recommend you guys get on there, and I promise you won't regret it. If you pull up the trading patterns here, you can see what an ascending triangle looks like. I want you guys to pay attention here because you've got a neutral resistance and ascending support, and that's exactly the formation we're also seeing here with Ethereum. So not only are we forming some bullish momentum right now at where we're at in price action, but even if we were to break up to the upside, we're also in this overall ascending triangle pattern with this ascending support level. So it's going to be exciting to see where Ethereum can head over the next few weeks, especially as it's following kind of like what Bitcoin is doing with this ascending support level. If we can see one more point of contact there, that third point, we'd at least like to see a 75% fulfillment of the structure before assuming the breakout of the structure. And so let's go ahead and move on to the total market cap cryptocurrency chart here. This is all of the cryptocurrencies together, and this is the price levels we're seeing. Very similar to the Bitcoin chart, being that Bitcoin takes up over 50% of the market. I see here we have some questions already on our live stream here. Sean saying, hey brother, just getting on for a bit before I go out tonight. Awesome. Well, thank you for getting on, Sean. That really means a lot. If you guys haven't liked the video already, make sure to like the video. We've been getting a ton of amazing support, and I really appreciate it. So let's look at this market capitalization chart here and talk about what's interesting about this chart. Now, the one thing I want you guys to pay attention to is this volume here. What we're starting to see is some higher volume levels at a consistent rate. You can see we're maintaining these higher levels, and that didn't necessarily happen for a long time. You can see we've stayed at these lower volume levels, but now we're starting to see more volume come in, right? And there are a lot of reasons for this. Let's talk about a couple of the reasons. You've got new platforms and new coins coming out, like the BTT token on the Tron Foundation, right? And not only that, when you look at other headlines in the market, you're seeing more accessibility towards this this cryptocurrency market in order for others to go ahead and buy and sell these digital currencies. And here's an example here. You can see the CEO of Binance here saying CZ surprises users by allowing purchase of token directly through credit cards via Binance. You can see here it says CZ, the CEO of Binance, has once again paid attention to users and added a feature that allows the purchase of XRP directly through credit cards via Binance. One of my buddies actually knows CZ, the CEO of Binance, and I've had the opportunity to get on the phone with him. And so being the fact that, you know, I'm in the position I'm in advising a lot of these blockchain startups, you know, I've seen a lot of adoption here in the last few months in terms of these new coins coming out, as well as these exchanges really making some moves towards user adoption and accessibility. You can see here it says the much awaited feature is a result Binance partnership with a payment processing company called Simplex. And we're seeing more and more partnerships in this market. And that's causing us to not only see these higher volume levels, but remember, we also talked about the transactional volume. If we pull up Bitcoin's daily transactions, what's interesting about this chart is we're also seeing higher levels of transactions, if not approaching these all-time highs, right? And so what's really cool about all of this is the fact that we have not yet seen a bull market. We haven't seen major upside in this market for a very long time. It's been really since 2017 that we've seen that. And so the fact that these fundamentals are now catching up to this actual asset class, we're not seeing technicals catch up. We soon may eventually see some breakout to the upside, being the fact that we have not yet seen that, but the fundamentals are showing positive, right? So you can see this consistent amount of strong volume here. You can see we have not seen that in a very, very long time. Last time we saw a little bit of some additional volume, we went a lot higher up, but right now we're seeing a mixture of buyer and seller volume. So not only that, we're in this overall pennant formation, and then what's really cool is we're seeing this EMA starting to converge with that 50-day moving average. So that squeeze is also indicating a potential breakout. And so the two scenarios here is we either see a breakout to the downside towards this ascending support level where we'll pretty much create that third point of contact, we'll fulfill the 75% of the structure, and then we can possibly see that upside in the future. So very, very positive. We're seeing not only Bitcoin's daily transactions at all-time highs, but we're also seeing total cryptocurrency market cap volume starting to come in and starting to stay in, which is extremely important. And so that's why we've talked about this ascending support level with these 2 points of contact being super important right now, because it's very similar to what we saw, as we've talked about in our past live streams, with the 2008 recession when we started to recover from that. So I see we've got some amazing people here. Justin says the signals are great and I am really enjoying the premium education. So much to learn and loving it. Yeah, we make it super simple for our members. You know, we don't make them go through these complex, strategies. We have all of these trading patterns in our Discord. We have premium education. We have quick tips here, and then we post our signals. And if you guys didn't see already, this was the result of our signal yesterday, and then yesterday we had a 10% signal from the day before. And so we're shooting out crypto and forex signals every single day, and you can see members are making money. Staff Kev here, I think he just became a member recently. We've got a total of over 4,000 members in this group that are paying. And so we're continuing to add more analysts as we gain members so that we can provide more and more signals and have more analysts looking at charts. And that's why we have our stock signals coming out, and then we'll have futures and options, and then really expand and get customized and niche, right? And then do maybe some, specific signals for Bitcoin shorts and stuff like that. So we've got a ton of stuff coming for our premium members. Super excited to grow that. And I am in the Discord like 24/7. That's why I talk about it so much. But to move on to our next headline. So I actually recently sent a trade alert out for Vechain. It was because not only am I seeing some technical indicators here showing some potential upside soon. You can see we're starting to trend up a little bit, but there's also some fundamentals here that are exciting. Vechain launches developer bounty and app development challenges. You can see here it says the Vechain Foundation, the governance behind the Vechain enterprise level public blockchain platform, has announced new and ongoing developer bounties and application development challenges for its Vechain Thor blockchain. The goal is to boost application development and make people aware of Vechain Thor's features. And so looking at the technical analysis, this article is pretty new here. This article is actually today. And so we have not yet seen the fundamentals catch up with the technicals because we are just trending at this major support level. And so the reason I sent this alert out is we've got very little downside here, right? When you're looking for a trade, by the way, I'll give you guys a little bit of some trading lesson here. So when you're looking for a trade, you're always looking for a trade that has more upside than downside. So you can see the downside here really is just this right here, because that's that known support. But then look at the upside towards that next resistance, right? That's the first trade right there. But then we've also got the second target, especially with the announcement of their developer bounty, very much could see a potential breakout here. So I am looking quite bullish here with Vechain. If we look at the RSI as well, you can see we're heading towards that major support level. So we're almost scalping this trade right now, because anything above 40 is that neutral ground. So between 40 and 60, if you understand the RSI, is neutral. Anything below 40 starts to become bearish. Anything below 30 becomes oversold. If you guys don't know this stuff, our Discord quick tips is free. We've got a ton of stuff here about RSI here, but if you guys are a premium member, you've got access to our premium education, and we actually go more in depth when it comes to RSI. You can see we've got videos here that we've made for you guys, so definitely check that out, and you guys won't regret it. So Vechain looking potentially good here in the near future. What do you guys think? Do you guys like Vechain? I'd love to hear your comments here in the chat. Lauren says, let's make money today, Traders Profit Club. Let's do it. Max says, ETH about to go parabolic. I love it. You know, we're looking at Ethereum, and we are seeing a ton of awesome things here. We're starting to trend up. We're starting to break that resistance level. So this is definitely something to start watching here over the next few hours. We can very much so break out of this resistance here past 60 and start to see that first target fulfilled, which is going to be quite a bit of Satoshis there. Right now, we're right around that 3,400,000 Satoshi mark, and we're heading towards that 4,100,000 Satoshi mark here. David says, your content is awesome, man. Keep up the good work. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to show appreciation, just like this video, and that is all. It means a lot, and I appreciate all the amazing comments as well. We had some amazing feedback from our video yesterday, so that was great. And so let's move on to our next headline here and talk about what we're seeing here in terms of mass adoption. You can see Kaspersky Lab here doing a study here, 13% of people using cryptocurrency. The cybersecurity firm found that over 1 in 10 people had made an online purchase using cryptocurrency. Why is this important? Well, here's something that we've actually talked about in the past, and this is the adoption cycle. It's a technology adoption cycle. There's actually a really good book I'd highly recommend. I've read this. It's called Crossing the Chasm, and it talks about this little chasm here being one of the most difficult parts of any technology's growth. And that's why you saw, companies like the Segway, for example, right? The Segway owner fell off of his own Segway. But what's really cool is the fact that, we're 10%, or about 13% of people are using cryptocurrencies according to this article, which would definitely put us here in the early adopter phase. And so if we're here in this early adopter phase, guess where we see the majority of growth? It's not here. It's here in the early majority phase. So a lot of things are starting to look good for Bitcoin, right? We look at, the fact that all of these exchanges are making advancements towards the technology, making it more user accessible, right? We're seeing more transactional volume on a daily basis, and it's staying consistent. We're seeing confirmed transactions for Bitcoin per day starting to reach these highs. And guess what? We're starting to see studies showing that we're over 10%, which means we're definitely in this early adopter phase. Well, guess what? If the early majority is coming, that's going to be where we'll see $1 trillion market cap, in my opinion. And so that's why I'm super excited about this market. During this whole downtrend, if you guys have been a part of our premium group, you guys know, we send out these alerts almost on a daily basis, if not every single day. I don't think we've missed a day for a while now. And we've had a lot of fun in this market, making money with all this volatility. You don't see this type of volatility in traditional markets. And so things are looking quite well for this overall market, this cryptocurrency revolution. And I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree that we're starting to see more and more positivity here in this market? At least a lot more than we saw in 2018 for sure. Ronnie says, hey, Naeem, good to see you online. Thank you. Marvin says 2 likes. Shame on you guys. Smash that like button. Yes, I appreciate it. What the video did actually mess up in the beginning, so it will actually really help if you guys do that. Sean says, I have a big bag of VET. Yeah, a lot of people accumulated VET when they launched their Thor network, especially because they were incentivizing people to do so. And so we did see a lot of people grab their bags. And so that's a very, very interesting point that you've made there. Myron's saying, are we going down? You know, looking at Ethereum right now, we're seeing this increase in volume. We're starting to see all these indicators show that we're breaking out to the upside. So things are actually looking pretty good for Ethereum. If we were to pull up Bitcoin's chart, let's take a look if there's been any sort of development here with Bitcoin. We've obviously got this overall pennant. If you guys don't know what a pennant is, it's a breakout pattern. Under our Discord's premium education, you guys can find our trading patterns here. So this is how the pennant looks for those of you that don't know how the pennant looks. But what's interesting about pennants is sometimes, you know, it really takes 75% of the structure to be fulfilled. I've talked about that in the past, and we've not yet seen that here. We're about to approach that 75% mark, but there very much could be that breakout of the downside. But right now, we're really holding on to this EMA here. You know, we're still above this EMA. Anything above the EMA is actually very positive. But the one thing I don't like is the lack of volume here. And you can see we're not necessarily seeing any movements here with the RSI. We found resistance at 60, didn't move away from that. So Bitcoin is just kind of in this middle point right now. That's why I didn't start this video with this analysis, just because of the fact that we're still under that 50-day moving average. We are above the EMA, but we're just kind of converging and sitting there right now. So not much excitement here. Maybe you guys have other coins that might have some better charts. We can find some really good trades. I'd love to hear that in the chat. Maybe you guys can request some coins here. Justin saying, the weak hands have been shaken out. The true believers are still here and optimistic. I can definitely feel that, Justin. I agree 100%. You know, it really feels like this market has taken away all of the hype, and it's really, you know, it's shaved itself and it's kind of sculpted itself like a sculpture in a way. And we're seeing, you know, more enthusiasts, more developers in this marketplace. We're seeing more developments with these companies. And so things are looking a lot more positive, especially behind the scenes as well, being that I advise several different companies and I am a part of their meetings. We're starting to see more and more partnerships come about, but the smaller companies that haven't raised as much funds, they're having more trouble, obviously, because, you know, when they have overhead, they're spending money. And so they eventually will run out if they don't have enough funds. But companies like Ripple, you know, they don't have an issue, right? Like Vechain, for example, you know, they're at over a $200 million market cap. And so they've got a little bit of funds to play with. And that's why we're seeing a little bit of more development with these coins in comparison to some of these other altcoins. So let's see here. Hungry Probe says TRX daily oversold plus Valentine's Day news. You know, TRX has been making some movements lately. You can see here, ooh, this is interesting. So we actually drew this out the other day in our live stream. We talked about this cup and handle forming here. I'm sorry, this rounding bottom actually. And if you guys don't know what a rounding bottom is, also a breakout pattern here. Rounding bottom is where you have this initial descent and then you form that cup, you form that handle, and then you break out to the upside. You can see we saw that initial descent. We saw a formation of a cup here. And then we found this rounding bottom here. Now we're at this known support level. Now there are a couple things here to notate. Number one, we did break this Bollinger Band support level. And so we did break this uptrend. We had this uptrend. You can see this bull flag, this huge bull flag that formed, but we did break that to the downside, right? Now, this 50-day moving average did catch us, which is extremely positive. However, once we broke down, we also went below that EMA. So things are starting to curve to the downside, right? Now, if we look at the RSI, you can see we've got these known resistance levels, and we found support right at 40, which is something I think that we talked about in our last couple live streams when we looked at Tron. And so that's very positive here. So this could very much be a good scalp here. This could be a point of entry. And, you know, really that point of entry would be very, very profitable in regards if you were to set up trailing take profits, because what you could do is you could take your, you know, half your profits here. Once we know we're going to most likely find resistance at this known resistance level, we might see a little bit of a downside before we see the pop to the upside, but then you can have that second target meet and then take the rest of the profits there. So right now we're trending right around that 670 Satoshi mark. I could very much see us starting to bounce now that this RSI is heading towards that 40 support. It looks like it already bounced, and so we could very much likely see that bounce to 770 around that area, and then from there we can possibly even reach that 860 Satoshi level. But, you know, the reason I'm not sending out an alert on this is, yes, we have this overall rounding bottom forming. Yes, we have a lot of these indicators showing that it's a scalp. But at the end of the day, we did break this uptrend. We broke that EMA to the downside, and then we also started, we broke that Bollinger Band support. And so we're seeing some seller volume, not much buyer volume, and that's why I'm not necessarily putting premium members. You're more than welcome to request things in our Discord as well. So we do a lot of chart requests there, especially if you're one of our VIP members. We'll definitely take care of you guys. We have a lot of requests there. So any other questions here before we wrap this baby up? I do have some meetings today. Let's see here. Robert says, sounds great now. Awesome. Quinn says, could you help me with a good entry for NEO, XRP, and ADA? Why don't we take a look at ADA, BTC, see what's going on with Cardano, anything interesting here. So not necessarily seeing much momentum here. Looks like a little bit of a boring chart. So let's not go too far into that chart here. We don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, right? Let's go ahead and look at NEO and see if there's any action there, right? We haven't looked at NEO in a while. Doesn't look like there's much action here, you know, so I would really be waiting for some fundamental alerts when it comes to these type of coins. You know, the same way that I started to look at the Vechain coin after I saw that fundamental development of them creating that bounty program for development, that right there triggered me to look at the technical analysis, which then triggered me to assume that we were most likely to see some upside based on what I saw. Let's wrap this live stream up with a Ripple technical analysis and then take maybe a couple questions here from our audience. Wyatt's channel says, I'm riding with Kelly Slade, hot NPSX. I have no idea what that means. Edward says, awesome live stream. Thanks, tonight. Thank you guys. Once again, show your appreciation by just liking the video. That's what helps. Kamal says, I'm the biggest fan of Naeem. Thanks to Naeem, I have earned lots of profit just by watching Naeem's video and doing the opposite of what Naeem says. That's hilarious, Kamal. I've seen many people comment that as a joke, and they put heart faces. Wyatt says, dash. You know, well, that's obviously not what our members say. If you actually go to our, just to address that, by the way, you know, I'm all about proof, right? So you can actually go to our Instagram here, and you can just click profits and look at all of the members here making profits. You can see profit on Loom, Flesh here, Garrett. You can see all the signals that we post, and we're doing this on a daily basis. Look, N Zaner profits, Josh and profit, and it's just a daily thing for us, and we're doing this, and you can just keep going through. And so if you guys want those signals, the link is in the description below. Let's finish this live stream up with a technical analysis here. You can see this strong resistance level here that we've drawn out in the past. We broke out of this uptrend as we've talked about. Now, what we said yesterday was we're most likely to see some downside with Ripple. And the reason we said that is because, as you can see here, if we were to pull this up, we're finding resistance at 40. RSI is not going above 40. That's a very bearish sign. If you guys look at yesterday's video, you'll get the full technical analysis. We won't go through the whole thing here. But the point is, we're most likely going to start heading towards this next support level, which is right around that 76,000 Satoshi mark, where right now we're right around 84,000, right? And so I would not be surprised for us to drop down below that. We're already below this 50-day moving average. We've broken this Bollinger Band support, and you can see things are just not looking as good here. We're below the EMA as well. And so, you know, lack of volume, right? So Ripple is just not looking as good as some of these other coins, and it already saw some of its shine. It already saw some sunshine and clear skies for the majority of when Bitcoin was taking a plunge. And so this is just not surprising to me. I'm just very much more confident with Ethereum's chart than I am with Ripple's chart right now. Bruce says, sniping trades. Kelly says, those are coins, LOL. Coins and tokens, same thing. Quinn says, thank you. You're very welcome. Well, other than that, guys, you know, if you guys have no other questions, I'll see you all in our Discord group. I'll be sure to post all of my trades there as these trades develop. And other than that, I really appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning into our live stream today. I do have a meeting coming up, and so I'm going to head out a little bit early, but make sure to like this video, share it as well if you guys really appreciate this content, and I can't wait to see some of you guys in our group on Discord. If you're not a part of it, the link is in the description below. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Quinn. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, The Base, Marcos, Kelly, Justin. TA, somebody says TA is pointless when BTC leads the market and BART is coming. Not necessarily. I mean, you know, how were we able to call a 6% trade yesterday and a 10% trade the day before that for our premium members if Bitcoin is not doing anything, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, how are we able to Look, I mean, this was yesterday, right? Like, no, that doesn't. That's a false statement, buddy. Just to be honest with you, not if you ask our members. Not here at TPC. Not in my corner. Let's just say that. Not on my island. Maybe on your island you're not making money, but on our island we're doing kind of good. Marvin says, how many of the 86 people watching are spooks? Justin says, thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Michael says, so non-chart related, you feel the fundamentals of XRP aren't colliding up? I mean, fundamentals for XRP have been good for a long time, you know? I mean, I would say at the end of the day, they have more PR and press money to spend than other companies. And so you're going to see them more on the headlines than other tokens, right? But you see something like Vechain come on the headlines for creating a developer bounty. That's a pretty big deal. And so that's what I say there. Vicky, the Basin Booth says that's pure luck. Yeah, when you do it consistently, it's definitely not pure luck, buddy. Vicky says, thanks. So I've been trading for almost 10 years now. You can't sit here and tell me it's pure luck. Kelly says, have a good one. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Evolve, just subscribe. Oh, yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys aren't subscribed. And turn on the post notifications if you guys want to be notified when I'm on live. You know, I try my best to go on live when there's something to talk about. And so that's why it's hard for me to create the schedule. But I'd rather just talk about things that are actually interesting. And so turn on those post notifications. But anyways, thank you guys so much. And I'm out. Hopefully you guys enjoy this analysis. See you on Discord. The Basin Bruce says, go short. Bart is coming.